Hi everyone, it's me again, Sarah, and I'm still playing with Inkstitch, and I'm actually using the beta version, BETA, of the latest version of Inkscape, which they haven't sort of formally released yet because they're still looking for people to test it out and see if there's any problems. But it's got loads of new features. Anyway, what I thought I'd do is I've just had a new grandson. So I thought, right, I'm going to do something for him. Now, what I've done here is I've imported a basic sort of picture of a teddy bear, which I'm going to use just for my outline. And I'm going to make this design quite big and then size it up and down as to what I need. But there's my basic picture of a bear that I've imported. And I want it to be faded because I want to draw over the top. So I don't want to see it. I want to see what I'm drawing more than I see this bear. So anyway, I've gone to fill and stroke, and down here you can see the opacity here, and I want to make it less opaque. So I've highlighted it, and I'm just going to drag that bar down so he's quite pale, but I can still see him. And I'm going to draw around his outline. So I'm going to get my Bezier tool, and I'll use that center point as my center line for the bear's head, so you can see there. And I'm going to go to there and to there, and I'm then going to shape it roughly into the bear's head like so. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. And I'm going to duplicate that and turn it around the other way. So I'm going to highlight it and object. Where am I? No. Oh, it's not object. It's look, right click and duplicate. Oh. And then I'm going to turn it the other way and swivel it round so that it matches up the other side. There's loads of ways you can do matching up the other side, but I'm going to do it this way because I want them to sort of be equal distant. Right. Now what I'm going to do is go to my center line again, double click. You see that and that one, and I am going to get rid of that. So I'm going to delete that segment, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Highlight it, grab those two nodes, and I'm going to delete that segment, and then I'm going to join those two up. So I'll just go to the tool up there, the snapping tool, and snap them together. So, yeah, I think that one's already snapped. Yeah. So I've got his basic face. I'll draw his ears. Let's do a now Inkstitch isn't going to see that as a path because it's an object, so I'm going to go object to path for that. So now it's a path. And I'll carry on drawing in the rest of the bear. I won't bore you with all that. and I'm going to get rid of the background image now because I don't need that anymore. And now I can see my basic bear, and I've got to improve him. So, right, so I've got my basic bear, and he's going to have some balloons, and I want to put the baby's name in the balloons. So his name is Joshua, so I don't know if I'm going to do all of those balloons. Let's just have a rough balloon shape. 1 J O S H U A. I'll see. Might not want that many balloons because you'd have to have them all in a row, wouldn't you? Let's faff about with them. Now, the other balloon lines are going to end up behind his head, and I don't want them over the front of his face, so I'll take that off, and then I'm going to do a line to there, and then a line to there, and a line to there. Ooh. I'm not happy with that because I think there's too many lines, so I'm going to just put his nickname Josh because I think it's going to make it look too top heavy, so I'm going to get rid of those ones. Right, so there I have my bear. Now this is all going to be my last layer to stitch out because it's going to be a run-in, well, it's going to be red work. You've got red work now, so that's all going to be my last layer to stitch out. So that is all going to be my layer 1. Okay, now what I do want to do is add now the fills and the letters and things, and they've got to be in different layers, so I'm going to add layers. I'm going to add a layer 2 below the current layer because it's going to stitch differently, and I'm going to add another layer below the current. If it's highlighted, it will be the current layer that you're looking at. So I'm going to add a layer. I can't remember how many colours I'm going to want, but I can always get rid of the layers if I've got too many. So I'll add 6 layers. Okay. Now I've got to go in and check that everything is joined up. Right, so I might put on the snapping tool and join that up to the head. Done it. See that? It says it's black. Oh, it's probably because the opacities. Right, go back up to the opacity for all of that. I think, yeah, 100%. And it's all black. They're all different widths at the moment, so I might just even them all up. Stroke style. Oh, you can't do it in one hit. It don't like it. Now, see, I didn't change those into path, so I'm going to go that one, that one, that one, and that one have all got to be object to path. There we are. You know it is because it's now got nodes on it. And that line looks a bit wonky, so I'm going to click that and I'm going to do roundy. See how that looks. I'm going to group it all together at the moment. Group. There, we can see it better now. So I grouped it all together so that I could change the stroke style on it all. But now I'm going to ungroup it because I want to now faff about with all the different layers and the different colours. So object, ungroup, there we are. We're back to all the individual groups. Now because I want to do fills, I want those fills to be in different layers. So I want the body, so I want this section, this section, this section, this, 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 and this, and this to all be filled in a different colour. But what I need to do first is make a duplicate layer. So I need to duplicate that layer. I need to go to fill and decide what fill I want. Well, I don't know, let's just choose a colour. And I don't want any stroke because it's just my fill. Ah, look, now that isn't a whole pathway there. So let's just move all that to my very bottom layer, my layer 6. I'm going to move it all to my layer 6. And because I've moved it down, the black is now showing. Now you can see that what happened here, because it wasn't a combined object, it's done, the fill isn't really the fill. So I'm going to choose that bit, and you can see it there, fill. And I'm going to actually delete that one. Ooh. And I'm going to delete that one. And I'm only choosing the fill, I don't want the outline. So let me go in a bit so that I can click on the right thing. Nope. There we are. I'm on the fill now. You can see it down the bottom there. So I'm going to delete that. So what I'm going to do is draw another a combined shape. So I'm going to draw it all the way around, and I want it to go over that black line there, and over that black line there, and up to there. And I'm going to fill it with my colour, and I'm going to get rid of the stroke, and now I'm going to shape it to cover the black line, and it's fine there. Let's go down there a bit, down there a bit. Right, now I've got to remember to move that, because it's a new piece, I've got to remember to move that to layer 2. Layer 6 rather. Oh, dear me. And here I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to go around the arm here. Up to there. And I'm going to fill it again. Get rid of the stroke. And then I'm going to make it fill up my bear's arm, like so. Doesn't matter if it goes over there a little bit. Ooh. Oh, sometimes I'm a bit cack-handed. And again, I'm going to have to move that to layer 6. Move. Right, so I can see it doesn't go quite over there, so I'm going to have to move it a bit. I'll move it in a bit. Move it up a bit. Move this over a bit. There we are. So there he is. He's all. The whole body is filled, but of course there's other areas that I don't want in that colour. So I'm going to duplicate this one, and again I'm going to get rid of the stroke, and I'm going to have that in that colour, and I'm going to move that to layer 5. I'm going to duplicate that one, duplicate, again no stroke but fill, and I'm going to move that to layer 5, move, and his nose, so that, duplicate, fill yes, stroke no, move to layer 5, and now this isn't a combined shape, so I'm going to duplicate it and then join it up. So join it up there to there, so it is one shape, and I'm going to fill, no stroke, and you can see it's not quite over the head there, so I have to move that up a bit. Right, move that to layer 5, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So now is bow tie. Let's see if I can combine all those three. Hang on, let's zoom in a bit. Hang on. Grab all three, and I'm gonna combine them so that they're in one. Now I'm gonna duplicate. Now what colour fill shall I have? Let's have, I don't know, let's just choose green, and I don't want a stroke, and that is going to be in layer 4. Now that's a good colour for one of the balloons, so I'm gonna, because I don't want to have too many colours all doing at the same time, so I'm going to click that balloon, I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to fill it with that colour again, because it will choose the last colour I did, and the stroke I'll get rid of, and now I want that to embroider at the same time as the bow tie, so that's layer 4. Okay, now what other colours shall I have my balloons? I'm going to duplicate that one, and I'm going to fill it with now's the time to see if all my layers are working. So if I turn off layer 1, all the outline disappears. If I turn off, let's go down, layer 8, his nose and eyes disappear. If I turn off layer 7, that balloon disappears. Layer 2, that balloon. Layer 3, that balloon. Layer 4, that balloon. Layer 5, what was layer 5? Oh, it's white. And layer 6 is the fill. So there we are. So all the layers are okay, and all the colours are okay. And now I've got to add some letters as well, and they'll go into another layer. Before I do anything, I've got to change the size of my page and change the size of this, because I haven't got a mega hoop, so I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to turn my page round. So I'm going to go document properties, and I'm going to do the orientation the other way. Now I'm going to highlight my whole design, and if I look up here I can see the width and the height. I'm going to change it to inches just to help everybody really. So I'm going to change the height to 6. Oh, I didn't do it equidistant, did I? That didn't help. I think you can when locked, change both width and height by the same proportion, yes. So the height is going to be 6 there, and it's proportioned it. So the width is about 6 and the height is 6. So that should fit in my big hoop. I mean, you can just, I've got templates saved with the hoop sizes, but I've realised it's quite easy to do it up here. And really, if you want to change it in different sizes, now's the time. Now, I haven't saved this yet, which is terrible of me. So I'm going to save as Bear Balloons. Okay, as an SVG, nothing else. Now I'm going to add the lettering, the names. Now the nice thing is, in this newest version of Inkstitch, they've added more fonts. So, because I can't be bothered doing my own fonts, that's like too much hard work. So I'm going to choose a font. I'm just going to do the J for Josh. And it's up here. So if I turn it round and sort of centre it on the blue, what colour are we going to have? Black's a bit, we don't want black, do we? Shall we have a dark blue? Oh, sorry, not the fill. Ah, the stroke. Let's have the stroke. Set stroke. So it's in a dark blue. Right, I'm going to add the rest of the letters now. What I've had to do, yeah, I've had to move the letters all into layer 9 so they stitch just before everything, the outline stitches. Now I've got to sort out the params for everything I've done before I do everything else. Okay, so now I've got to sort out the params for everything. So I'm going to turn off layer 1 and hike that up. I'm going to turn off layer 8 and 7 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. No, not 5. I want 5. No, I don't. I want 6, but my layer 9 isn't hidden. There we are. Right, so I've hidden everything except the body of the bear. Now I'm going to see what it feels like as a whole. Sometimes what I need to now, see that hasn't covered right over. So I'm going to that and that. I'm going to combine into one, because it had a line down it, so I've combined those two halves into one, so there wasn't a line down it. Sometimes I do things individually, individual sections, and I'll show you what I mean. But I'm going to choose the whole bear for the minute, and I'm going to go to Inkstitch params and see what type of fill I want to do. Now it's set to autofill, but I don't know if I want to do autofill. Takes a while to get going. Let's just have a look. Let's see. It's okay, but it all stitches in the same way. Really, I want the head to stitch down, the body to stitch downwards, and I want these to stitch in a different route. So I'm going to go back. So I'm going to click that and that, and I'm going to do them going one way. I'm going to do it legacy because I like legacy. And there you are. That's what I like. So I'm going to apply. Right, do I need to change the angle of the lines? Not really. Well, I could turn him slightly. Let's just do 20 degrees and see what happens. It's probably a little bit better actually. Do I want the spacing between the rows any greater? Because that would be quite a tight legacy stitch. Don't know. Don't think I do. I'm quite happy where it starts and stops. Let's go down. I'll do trim. Although, to be honest, my machine does that, so I don't have to worry. And I'm happy for it to have an underlay. So, yeah, I'm going to apply that. Now, I want the ears to go the other way. And the legs. Let's just do all those together. So Inkstitch, params. Let's go back to legacy. Let's see how they stitch. Yeah, really I want them to go that way. So I'm going to change the angle to 95 degrees. Yeah, much happier with that. Yeah. So I'm going to apply and quit. And I've just got his arms now. Let's see how I want those to do. Legacy. Let's try them as 95. Yeah, prefer that. So I'll apply that. So now he's all done and his stitching goes in a slightly different way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to visualize it just to see if I am happy. I am happy, but I don't like the way it's too far over on the head and the legs. So I might have to do a little bit jiggery-pokery there. Although what I could do is make sure the head stitches after the ears. So the head is path 37 and the body and the ears are there. Let's see, the ears are there. So I could change so that that, which is path 40, and that stitch after the ears. So I'm going to move that up. Right, now I'm going to look at it again. Yeah, the head is going to stitch and I'm going to actually get the legs to stitch after the body. So now I made a real error with this because I forgot to voice over while I was recording, so I'm having to do it separately now, which is a bit of a pain. I realised that my bow tie was going to fill in 3 different sections, so I grouped them all together and I went to path union so that they would stitch out as one. And I did all the params on all the different objects. Each time I wanted to do the params on a particular object, I switched off all the layers apart from the ones I wanted to visualize. So you can see here I chose each balloon and I had them all stitching in I used legacy throughout, but I had them all stitching at a slightly different angle all through the whole thing, which meant that I got a better effect, I think, at the end. Now, when it came to the outline of the bear, which was my layer with all the outline in, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, really. I didn't know whether I would choose an ordinary stroke, but you now have red work, which will stitch in one continuous line. It won't keep going backwards and forwards over itself, which is great. So I thought I would apply red work to the stitch. So what I then decided, I had a look at it and I was happy with it. I thought I'll save the SVG. I'll also save a copy as my PES file for stitching out. So I always save it as a copy, otherwise you've lost your SVG file and you can't go back and do anything. And then I had a wonder about whether it would look nice with a satin stitch all the way around the edge. So I then chose everything and got rid of all the layers again. Well, I say got rid of. I put them so I couldn't see them, so that I could just transfer the layer with, goodness me, I'd need more coffee, I think. The layer with just the black work as my satin stitch. So here you can see I'm just switching off all the layers that I don't want, and there I have there I've got the black work, and all I had to do was highlight it. And you've got to up the stroke because the satin won't work under anything under 2 mils, so you've got to get wide enough for it. Well, you can do a satin, but you've got to fiddle about with it, but 2 mil would be good. So then I go to Inkstitch and I go stroke, convert satin, convert line to satin, and I did that. So there you are. And I didn't auto run it or anything because you should know how to do all the auto runs on things. But anyway, I thought then I'll do a test embroidery out and see how we get on, and then I might want to make changes afterwards. So I'm going to go off. I'm going to save this as save a copy as another PES file as the bear with the satin border, and then I'm going to test stitch it out and see what it looks like. You can see here quickly. Yeah, so there we are. So with my test run, I did do the satin stitch and I hated it, honestly. It would scare a young child. And also I was very pleased with the stitch out fill on my bear, but I didn't like anything around the edge. So I'm going to change a few things, and I'm going to show you what I realised was a mistake. Fill. But I didn't like the lines around the edge of the bear, so I'm going to discard some of them. So I'm going to discard that one and that, And that, I'm just checking down here that I'm picking up the stroke and not the fill areas. So that line there, the stroke, yep, that one's a stroke, and that one's a stroke, and I don't want it round the body, the arm, so I'm going to get rid of that one as well. And that I had a stroke and a fill, so let me have a look. I don't need a stroke, and I don't need a stroke on that one either, so I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get rid of the stroke on there, because he ended up, all his eyes and his nose and everything looked too fat, and I'm not going to have the fill around the balloons. I'm thinking if this is for a baby item, I would like it to just be quite, what's the word, tame in a way. So what I'm going to have for the strings is a different colour. I'm going to have I haven't done those two. That one. Oh, I've forgotten what colour I chose now. Hold on. Set stroke. Set stroke. Yeah, I've decided to sort of calm it down a bit. It was all a bit mad. I wasn't very keen on it, so I'm going to just have a look and see how that looks. Sometimes you think something's going to work out really good, and then when you see it in reality, it doesn't look good at all. So let's just visualize that. What I did like was the fact that I'd done these in all different angles, because it gave the bear sort of a 3D look, and I think I'm just gonna stick with that, and I liked that a lot, so that's what I'm gonna do. So it's back to the drawing board again. I want to view in realistic mode, which you can't do so easily now. So what you do is you choose your thingamabob, you go to Inkstitch, you go to visualize, and you go to stitch plan preview, and it's all here. Now I've asked it to lower the opacity of the design, and I've asked it to show realistic mode. It can show realistic, high quality, realistic vector. I've done high quality, realistic, so I'll do realistic high quality, and I'll apply it and see what happens. Right, now I'll close it. Now what it does is it shows it up next to your design. So it's now showing up here. Now I'm not worried about the jump stitches, because my machine automatically cuts all the threads if I ask it to, and it's easier than faffing about in here asking it to cut threads. But you can see in the realistic view the way I've set the design to go in different ways for each piece, and it means that I get really a nice effect when the bear, he looks more like a 3D bear. So I'm really happy with that. So what's happened is the stitch plan is up here. Now you can remove it from Inkstitch. Let's just go visualize. You can remove it from where you went, but if you just go there, you can cut that, you can get rid of it. The stitch plan is deleted, so we're back to square one. Right, I am going to save that as my save a copy. I always save a copy. Bare Balloons version 2, and I'm going to have that as my pairs. And then I'm going to try that. I'm going to get rid of the satin and the other one that I had and just go with the balloons and the bear as they are now. So I'm going to go and test run that and see how it goes. Overall, pretty happy with how that turned out, and I think that's going to look nice on an outfit for my grandson. So yeah, if you've got any comments, any suggestions, do let me know, because I do rely on other people to help me on this learning curve.